Hey guys, Kay here from Startup Creative, and today I want to talk to you about achieving your goals, your dreams, your desires. In my experience working with people one-on-one in business coaching, running events, workshops, chatting to people on Instagram, even my own personal experience, is that we, somewhere along the line, we have a dream or a desire, a goal, something that we want to achieve. Often what I find is that it can be, it comes alive in us when we see somebody else express it to us. So if there's someone you're following on Instagram or that you admire or that you watch from afar or listen to their podcast or have read their book, or, it could be anyone from, the girl down the road running a travel blog to Oprah Winfrey, or, somebody, an elite athlete. That person reflects back to us an aspect of ourselves that we want to grow, expand, go after, and bring to life, to manifest in our reality. And that person, if we're wise enough, we're actually able to see that admiration, that desire, that inspiration that we have for them, and we're actually able to turn it inwards and say, what is it that they have that I want? And then we can start to set goals and intentions for ourselves. Okay, cool, that person's running a booming business, working for themselves, traveling the world, working in a family business, whatever it might be. How can I do that? What does that look like for me? What is it that I want? Is it I want the freedom? Is it that I want to give my business a crack and see if people will pay me for it? And so we start to set clear goals and intentions of where we want to go and what we want to do. What I find is that as soon as you set that goal, then you're on the edge, right? You're on the edge of change. You're on the edge of doing things differently, of creating something that you haven't yet experienced, of manifesting a new reality for yourself. And this is where so many people come undone, right? This is where fear kicks in, self-doubt, self-sabotage, retreating back to the comfort zone. It all happens in this split moment. So I want to share with you why I think this happens, and then also some tips as to how you can overcome when that fear and sabotage and retreat comes in. Because what I've found is that if you have a goal or a dream or an intention for something new for yourself, a new reality, a dream, something that you haven't yet experienced or that you want more of, if you have it, Eckhart Tolle talks about the reason you desire that and can see that and feel that in your body is because it's on some level meant for you. You're meant to experience that. Everyone has different dreams. Some people go really big. Some people just want to be at home with their kids. Some people want to be of service. I met a guy the other day who was sharing with me about his passion is saving trees and wildlife. And he's a gardener, and he's spends his days, preserving people's beautiful gardens and activating little microcosms. And, that's his passion and that's his dream. So everybody's different, right? But if you've got it somewhere in you, then my suggestion is that the body knows that you're ready to evolve, that you're ready to grow, you're ready to push yourself out of your comfort zone and to create something that you haven't yet experienced. What happens though is that we go big with our goals and we set out on our journey and we enter the unknown. We enter this place of, I haven't been here before. It feels uncertain. And that's totally normal, right? If you're going to do something you haven't done yet, then it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel scary. And the trick is, and I've experienced this, and I've interviewed really successful, powerful people who've experienced it as well. It's not how qualified you are. It's not how wealthy you are, experienced you are, who you have access to, what resources. None of that matters. Yes, it can help. But what matters more than any of that is, are you willing to sit in the unknown? Are you willing to sit in the uncomfortableness of learning from scratch, of being at the bottom of the ladder again, or making a bit of a fool of yourself, or making mistakes? Can you sit in that with all of those emotions and allow them to be there and still keep moving in the direction of your goals and your dreams and your desires? I actually went on a bushwalk yesterday, and I was solo running through the bush and ended up sliding in the mud, and I was making little voice memos because I was having all these realizations. And something that came to me was that when we set out and I was walking through the bush, and I'm going to compare this to Avatar, the movie that I recently watched, which is incredible. If you haven't watched it lately, go back and watch it. And this bushwalk. So there's a scene in the Avatar movie that talks about where they're running through the jungle. And obviously Avatar is a Disney movie. It's very creative and mystical, and there's all these different creatures that aren't real but that exist. And they're running through the bush and they're running through the forest, and they hear these noises and they hear these unknown creatures kind of squealing and then moving through the bush. And they become terrified and they become scared and like really hyper alert and really what are we going to do and what is that? And they don't know all of the different creatures that live out there. They've never experienced them before. They don't know what they're capable of, whether they're going to be hunted or what energy they're going to be met with. When I was walking through the Australian bushland out the back of Byron the other day, I heard all of these wild noises of birds and animals moving through the bush. And I had this experience and I had this reflection on, if I had a perception that there was a dangerous animal out there, like a dinosaur or some weird mystical creature that fed off human blood or whatever, that was out there, and I heard these noises, I would become hyper alert. I would become frightened, and I would my experience of walking through that bush would be so much different, right? Because I'm like, what is coming to get me? And what I realized is that it's in contrast to Avatar, it was fair enough that they were scared because they didn't know what was out there, and there was dangerous animals coming to get them. In my experience, which is just a different perception, right, is I knew that was just the sounds of Australian wildlife, that was harmless, and that there was nothing out there to hunt me. Had I shifted my perspective, had I shifted my opinion or view and went into a fear state of like, what the fuck was that? Or what is that noise? Is it dangerous? Is it coming to get me? I would have completely put my body into a state of alarm. I would have felt the need to get out of that rainforest and, to be hyper alert and to run. How this is relevant is that what I reflected on was that it's similar to a business journey, right? You have these dreams and these goals and you want to get to point B. So you're point A and you want to manifest and bring into life point B. When you head out into that jungle or that rainforest and you start walking towards point B, there's going to be a lot that you don't know. There's going to be a lot of unknowns and twists and turns and random noises and, scary things that can feel really overwhelming and terrifying. But if we can give purpose and meaning and understanding to the unknowns, so those random voices, okay, that's just a kookaburra, or that's, a kangaroo jumping through the bush, or a lizard moving through the leaves, then it can actually relieve some of our stress and anxieties and our fear of the unknown. And we're able to navigate through the jungle with ease, with awe, with new experiences, observing beauty and experiencing the terrain of the ground and the rain falling, and it becomes a whole different experience. But had I put the fear blinkers on and went, oh my God, I don't know what that is, and it could come to kill me, I wouldn't have seen the beautiful sun coming through the light. I wouldn't have been able to embrace the rain falling on me. I wouldn't have been able to slide in the mud and play and have fun and wash my face in the waterfall, because I would have been in fight or flight. And that's what happens when we get into a fear state. We put blinkers on, and it's an evolutionary process that is built into us as humans, because back in the day, we were hunted. We were experiencing threats on a regular occasion. And the fight or flight modalities and activation in our body helped us to get out of fear, out of danger. So we had to, when fear came and arose in us, we had to shut off any sort of creativity or awe or wonder or looking for opportunities or observing and enjoying our environment, so that we could shut down all unnecessary systems in the body and activate the muscles and the clarity and the laser focus to get out of danger, right? To fight, flight, or freeze. What I think happens a lot of the time, and I see this in business coaching and people reaching out for business coaching and then not following through with it, or doing some work or webinar and then, and leaving it there and the dreams never come to life, is that we have a dream and a goal and we go into the unknown territory of what we haven't done before, and we put on we experience the unknown, we experience the noises and the sounds, and instead of just being like, that's just a noise, or that's just this, and giving some sort of meaning or something to calm the anxieties and the stories that we tell ourselves, then we allow the fear to play out. We allow the fear to make us retreat and get out of that forest and protect ourselves and flight. And what we need to realize is that when we're in fight or flight, we actually become tunnel visioned. You cannot see new opportunities. It's not, if fight or flight is racing through your body and the fear and anxiety and stress and overwhelm, it is not viable for the body to stop and look around and absorb the colors and the sunlight and the beauty, and to figure out what way on the path you're going to go or what you see next. So it is our job to try and quieten some of the fear that is not necessary in order to be able to get us to be. So if you're experiencing discomfort in your body or you're experiencing fear, my challenge to you is to be okay with it and go, this is scary, but what's the worst case scenario? Or am I creating a story that's a pterodactyl out to get me and not just a kookaburra? Or am I allowing that to run unnecessary? Because what we need to realize is that businesses have been created for years, and new ideas and creativity comes from the unknown. It comes from leaving the comfort zone and being determined enough to move yourself towards point B. Whether you take 1 step, 5 steps, 15 steps, wherever it is on the journey that you experience the fear or the distraction and the noises, and you give that power and you give that a story, then at some level you're going to retreat or you're going to stop and become stagnant. And when I've done that in my life and in my business, what I notice is that my body becomes frustrated. I get angry. I can manifest sickness. I can get up and feel blurry, and I've got this to-do list that I never get anything done. So you'll notice in your body that frustration of holding yourself back. So if you're experiencing that, chances are you've allowed the story of fear to run its course and has put the blinkers back on, and you're actually looking to retreat out of the forest rather than to get to the waterfall on the other side. Yeah. So what I've noticed over the years is, I'm going to give you a few steps as to how to keep moving in the state of fear, how to keep moving towards your goals and your dreams. Because at the end of the day, and I've had this experience of interviewing really powerful, successful businesses, entrepreneurs, creatives who have had the successes, and it can sit back and go, wow, my wildest dreams are coming to life. It's because they sit in the unknown and they allow the fear to be there, and they keep moving through it anyway. So here's some things. If you've got an idea and you've got a dream, and just quickly on that also, if you've set the dream and the goal for point B that you want to get to and that you want to manifest, and you've started moving towards it, or you've at least set the dream, and remember what I said before, if you've set the dream, it's probably because you're willing and able and capable and meant to manifest it and bring it into life. If you don't do that, you will create uncomfortableness and stress and anxiety and overwhelm and frustration and procrastination in your life, because you're actually holding yourself back from what you're truly capable of, which doesn't feel good in any human body. We are meant to evolve. We are life in motion. We are moving. We are going towards dreams and evolving and growing. And we're not meant to stay in our comfort zones. You know, when we stay there too long, it becomes stagnant, and stagnant water creates mold and disease and, you know, bugs, and, you know, it becomes unhealthy for us. So if you've got a dream, whether you've started moving towards it or not, whether you've seen it come to life, here's some things to help you keep moving through the jungle so you get to experience the beautiful waterfall of your dreams coming to life before you. Step number one is, I would say, get a coach or a mentor or a community or support team around you. Because what I noticed was that my knowledge was able to quiet the fear. So every time I heard a new noise, every time I heard a rustling in the leaves, I was able to go, I know what that is. I know that this is my homeland, that this is an animal, this is a bird singing, it's a harmless blue-tongued lizard moving through the leaves. And that knowledge allowed me to quieten the fear and keep moving. That's what a coach, that's what a mentor, that's what a course, that's what reading books, experiences, listening to podcasts of people who've gone before you can do for you. It quietens the fear, right? It gives meaning. It says, yes, it's okay to feel like that. Or yes, that feels uncomfortable because, you know, you're doing it like this and you can try it like that. But a coach or mentor, somebody outside you who has gone before you, helps to quiet the fear and the story of the unknown. You don't know what that is. It's like a child walking through and hearing that noise and being like, what was that? And the imagination can create any sort of mystical monster out there, or the known and the experience and the knowledge that you program your brain with can actually say, I know what that is. That's that. And it can't hurt me. And then we can move it aside and keep moving. Yeah. So get somebody who's been before you who can help you to quiet and give meaning to the fear, or shut it down and tell you that it's completely irrelevant, which is what I do for most of my coaching clients. Step number two is to notice it in your body. It's okay. Fear is normal, right? The bigger your dreams get, the longer you're in business, the scarier it's going to be. So if you're feeling fear, that's okay. Don't give it a story. Don't play into it, because if you do, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's going to actually make you retreat. And as you retreat, you're going to feel disappointed in yourself. You're going to feel fed up. You're going to feel like a failure. You're going to doubt yourself, and it's going to be harder to take the leap and get back in the game. Yeah. So feel it in your body, experience it. Emotion moves through the body relatively quickly if we don't create a story and give it too much attention. Okay, I'm feeling fear. Right. What's caused fear? Is it really that scary? Is it a threat, or can I shut it down and quiet it down? So notice it and allow it to move through your body. If there's a real threat, or there's something that a fire that needs to be put out, or something that you need, then go and seek help and ask somebody to, or bounce ideas, or find an expert who can help you put the fire out. The second one is to try and deactivate. Sorry, the third one is, as we're shutting down acknowledging the fear or the overwhelm or the self-doubt in our body, the quieter we can make it, the more we're able to keep our mind open. So if you can, at least nothing else, have in the back of your mind, I don't want my blinkers. I've set my dream and I want to head towards that. If I allow this fear and this fight or flight to race through my body on a complete chemical level, I will change my ability to see opportunities and a new perspective. So keeping those blinkers off, yeah, keeping them out of your way, so that, you know, you can actually start to look around and absorb and observe and appreciate that this is uncomfortable, but you're in new territory now, and new territory means new opportunities and a new reality for yourself. Have a really clear intention. Where is it that you want to go, and what does that look like, and how will you know when you're there? I've talked about this before, and I talk about it with my clients all the time. When I started out, there was days when $3 in my bank account was a bloody struggle, and I would just want to go and buy myself a coffee. But in and amongst that fear and overwhelm of that circumstance and that environment, I still had a clear intention of, one day I'm going to be working for myself. One day I'm not going to have to worry. My income will be limitless, and I won't have to work on Mondays. And even though my environment didn't feed me that feedback straight away, I still knew that's where I was heading. And I've heard it time and time again from successful entrepreneurs, and I've seen it in my coaching clients. Those who have a clear intention about where they're going and what they want to achieve are the ones that are going to get it. Because if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know what way the waterfall is, then you're going to get lost. You're going to get overwhelmed, and it's going to be easier to just head back to the car and forget that you even wanted to go to the waterfall, right? So have a super clear intention and hold firm to that. My last and final tip, which I talk time and time again about, is what you focus on expands. So be really cautious of your perception. Are you giving yourself tunnel vision and saying, that's really scary, that noise is out to get me? Or are you saying, this is a new opportunity, this is a new reality, this is, the doors are opening to experiencing things I've never seen or done before. And if you focus and you keep your perception as a positive experience of going into the unknown, because I want something new that I haven't yet had, and it's going to be uncomfortable, but I'm still focusing on my intention, then that is where you're going to head. But if you hold firm to, this is hard, this is scary, where's my next paycheck coming from, no one's going to take me seriously, I'm not good enough, then that's what you're going to get more of. So each and every human has the ability to decide what they focus on. It's up to you to determine where you're going to give your energy. There is only so much energy in your tank every single day, and you can either have that energy directed towards a clear intention of point B, the beautiful waterfall that you're going to go and see and experience and swim in and drink from, or you're going to have your perception on being in the complete unknown and these wild noises around you, and you feel uncomfortable and you're not sure which way to go, and the rain's coming and the sun's going to set soon and this is all too much, I'm out of here. Yeah. So your job is to harness your mind, harness your intention to, if things aren't working, to take the blinkers off, to look around and seek opportunities. There's two ways that you can do this. Instead of saying, I can't, ask yourself, how? How can I do this? How can I make this work? How do I get closer to point B? And if you're not there yet and you're on that journey, instead of saying, I can't and I can't afford it and I don't have the resources, another really good one, which I learned from Jim Quick, is to say, I don't have it yet. My dreams aren't here yet. And that allows the brain to stay open. It allows it to seek opportunities, to look for ways as to how to get you to point B. But if you go into fight, flight, freeze, fear, stress, anxiety, you're going to put blinkers on. You're not going to get closer to your dreams, and you're likely to retreat, which the only person you're disappointing and letting down is yourself. So there's people like me and podcasts and books and, blogs and everything that you can absorb and you can program your brain with to help you to quieten some of the noise. But at the end of the day, are you able to withstand the fear and the anxiety and the unknown, and stand in that space and keep moving regardless, and trusting and knowing that the fight, flight, or freeze mentality is existing in your body? It was to keep you safe. And most of the time that we activate it as humans now and we play into it and we act out of it is for a fear or a stress outside of us that is not actually life threatening. It's not that dangerous. We just create the story that it is. So ask yourself, what is the worst thing that could happen? And hold firm to your clear intentions. Surround yourself with examples, people, coaches that can help you to see and know that it can be done. They've gone before you. They can give you resources, advice, knowledge that can help to minimize some of the fear. Ask yourself the question, how can I make this happen? And I don't have it yet. Change your language. It's very, very powerful. And notice it in your body and allow it to pass through. Once you've got that clear intention, don't fall back. Don't retreat, because you will feel disappointed. You will experience more pain, and hesitation is one of the biggest discomforts that we can experience as humans. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much I help you. If you don't get up and do the work and withstand it and master your mind and your body, then chances are you're not going to get the end goal anyway. So I hope this helps. Go out and get it. Your dreams are possible. I know this for a fact. I've seen it time and time again. If you can conceive it and believe it, it is possible. And it's up to you to harness your energy, to your emotions